Youngest in the Yacht Club, I am Vince Serrano. Today's guest, man, I'll tell you right now, he will punch you in the face, he will smile at you, and raise his fist afterwards, man. We got the BKFC light heavyweight champ? Middleweight champ, Dave Mundell. What's up, bro?
What's going on, man?
Man, I appreciate you coming on the show, man. We finally made it happen, bro.
I know it's been a long time in the making, and I've been saying I want to get up here for a while now. I know my boy Reaper was on here, and he said y'all had a good time, so I had to go check it out too.
I love it, bro. I love it. Dave Mundell, we always ask the question, who is Dave Mundell?
I'm just, your normal, hardworking, blue-collar guy. I just happen to be able to fight.
Yeah, that's real. Bro, you call yourself the Redneck.
Yeah. First things first, everyone knows you cannot give yourself a nickname. All right, so there's a whole start of my career. Someone else tried to give me a different nickname. I don't even remember what it was. I didn't like it. It had a lot of controversy to it. And Jihad and Trey, two black coaches, dreads, they always called me Redneck. They gave me that nickname, and it stuck, and it works, and it just fits.
I mean, you definitely fit. It does fit, bro.
Absolutely.
I mean, you got the cowboy hat, right? The Redneck Mundell look. It rings too, Dave Redneck Mundell.
Yeah, man, it just flows nicely.
Bro, so I got to ask you, man, like, how did you grow up? Like, where does Dave Mundell come from?
Man, I was born and raised in Oldsmar. I just grew up riding four-wheelers, fishing, riding my bikes, just all the normal kid shit to me. I mean, to me, it was just normal.
Right.
But I guess it, some people, I was like 8 years old getting dropped off of my dad, taking the boat out all day. He'd come back and pick me up at 5. We didn't have cell phones or anything. He's like, hey, be here at this time. There's the watch. I'll see you in a little bit. I'm like, all right.
Bro, that's fire, though.
Yeah, I mean, there's some kids that you look at and you're like, he can't even drive a car. And I was 12 years old, like kind of like scooting to school every now and then. You know, like I'm saying, it's just, I was very mature and coordinated and responsible, and it's just the way I've always been.
Yeah, that's cool. So you feel like you've been trusted with responsibility at a young age?
Yeah, I just, kind of had to grow up fast.
That's cool. You say you had to grow up fast. Why was that? Like, what was the situations?
Just I was always the I got an older sister, so I was the youngest. Always around older people, and just kind of as a kid you want to fit in and stuff, and just the things that went on in the area, and looking back at it now, like the stuff that we did was to people would consider it dangerous. To me, it was just an everyday. Like I'd get home, my parents would be home, and just pull the four-wheeler out of the garage, and me and my boys go take off to the woods, and just that kind of shit. You know, just whatever we wanted to do, we went and did. And there's a lot of kids who just wouldn't be able to even start a damn four-wheeler right now. It's crazy to me.
Yeah, it's just because of the way that like the world is today, right? Like
it's just so different. Yeah. It's so different.
Like you can ride a four-wheeler. My kids can barely toast their bagel.
Exactly. They'll work the iPhone though.
Oh no, technology is definitely it.
I was over there ripping bikes down and building motors, and these kids now are, I don't know, playing on the iPad.
Yeah, they're over here creating engineering specs and 3D printing robots.
Yeah, I mean, I guess whatever floats your boat.
Right, bro. How did you get into fighting? Like,
again, growing up, being the youngest kid, people want to pick on me, I would throw down. Like it didn't matter. I didn't care who you are, how big you are. I was just always a scrapper.
Yeah.
So going through high school, I played football, and I think I just had my freshman year, and I remember I was small. Like I'm 5'9", so for a football player, I'm small.
Right.
And I was good, and they just never let me play. So I'm like, I lost interest. I'm like, fuck this.
Yeah. What high school you went to?
I went to Eastlake High School.
Oh yeah, Eastlake. Damn, that's just far from Oldsmar.
Not really.
Is it? No.
It's like 15 minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
Oldsmar is like towards.
That's where I was zoned for too. Yeah. So it was either there or Countryside. And although I wish I would have went to Countryside, because like one of my best friends, Johnny, he went there. But whatever. Either way, it worked out.
Right.
But senior year, fast forward to there, about halfway through the wrestling season. I don't even know how long a wrestling season is in school right now, but about halfway through, my coaches my coaches now, they were like pushing me, like, come on, try. And I'm like, well,
Try
yeah,
out
whatever,
wrestling.
whatever. And I didn't want to wear the singlets.
Is that the?
Yeah, but I'm like, you know what? Fuck it, I'll go in there. And then it was me and at the time a buddy of mine, Omar, and we went in there and did it together. And I found out I was good at combat sports, just
Wow.
naturally coordinated, I guess. I don't know. And I've always had to, deal with bigger people, so I started wrestling. I think me and him were both like close to 190 pounds. I think he may have been a little bit lighter, so he wrestled the 189 class, and I wrestled 215, but I was like 190 wrestling. These guys are like 215.
Wow.
And I was still throwing them around and stuff, so I was like, again, I was just very scrappy. Like, I didn't have the best technique, but I did shit and made it work. I remember, like, I would basically football tackle them, run them all the way to the edge, and then right before we got there, I would, like, stop, so my feet would, like, drag across the, so that I would get my two.
Yeah.
And that was it. Now I'm ahead, and that for the rest of the time, I'm just, like, I have to stay active so you don't get stalling points and all that
Right.
good stuff. But, and that's just where it all kind of started, I just really found the love for it.
So you use like the football techniques mixed with
Just
the
a little
rest.
bit, whatever I could get together, because,
Bro, I saw pictures of you as a younger guy. You looked a little chubby. Like
I was fat when I was a kid. I am a fat boy at heart too. I love food.
me too, bro. I'm telling you, man. I be trying to figure it out, dog. Like I eat all the time, and I was looking at like pictures. I'm like, bro, is that the same guy? Like,
I wonder what pictures you're talking about.
It's like when you first got into maybe first got into BKFC, possibly, man. I feel like your face was rounded.
Okay, well, I definitely, I should say, I used to fluctuate a lot in between camps. I mean, I would walk around at like 220 pounds, cut all the way down to 175 or whatever way that I was fighting at the time. But, as BKFC evolves, so does the competition, and it's starting time now. I got the belt, and I'm pound for pound #1. Like, I told myself, like, I gotta play the part, So I'm a lot more focused on my nutrition. I have Jackie, who is my nutritionist, and just kind of helped me out all last year, and it's just it's put me on a whole different level.
That's
for sure.
awesome. Yeah, bro. I was gonna ask you, is like now I see you, bro. You're like you're Dave the Rock Mundell. Like,
that part comes from my boy Nick over there at 360. My personal trainer. Like, it's a whole team, man. Everything that comes to play. I got my boxing coaches, I got my personal trainer, I got my nutritionist, I got my support system. Everything comes together and makes the product you see here.
For sure. Bro, so how did you go from wrestling to like actually getting into like combat? Like, what, and did you start off in like
No, so this is cool that you asked that. So halfway through the wrestling season, you get this whole bond from the brotherhood, because if you train with people, like, you guys are trying to hurt each other, but then you're friends right after. It's just the way it is. So
Right.
You guys get really close. So after high school and after the wrestling season, it's like, well, man, like, it's over, it's done. I'm never gonna do this again. I wasn't gonna go to college, although I had scholarships and stuff to do that. I just wasn't interested in the school. So I'm like, well, what else can I do? At the time, I had a buddy of mine, Nia Lee, who did jiu-jitsu. He's 135 pounds. At the time, I'm like 200 pounds.
Right.
He's like, cool, come on, let's roll or what. I'm like, bro, I'm gonna like throw you around. He's like, it's jiu-jitsu, it's not wrestling. You can't pin me. I'm like, all right. So we started fucking around, and on it, we rolled for like 10 minutes straight, and I didn't submit him, and pins didn't count. He didn't submit me either, but it's like, he's 135 pounds, and he was holding up with me. I'm like, all right. He's like, bro, come in, and we're gonna go do some, jiu-jitsu and learn from there. I'm like, perfect, So then I was just gonna go and do jiu-jitsu tournaments, and I wasn't gonna like fight or anything, because everyone's like, you don't want to get no head trauma or whatever. I'm like, all right, whatever. So go in there, do jiu-jitsu. A couple years into that, they're like, hey man, you should kickbox. And I remember sparring for like my first time with no training. I knew how to throw a punch, stuff like that. I remember getting my ass beat, and I'm like, that shit didn't sit well with me. I was like, no, that shit ain't happening. So I started training hard. I'm like, I'm only gonna do it just to get back at that one guy. Started beating him up. They're like, Dave, you should fight. I'm like, all right, I'll do one. Did an amateur fight, and that turned into, okay, well, let's get to one pro fight. One pro fight, pound for pound. It's just the evolution. I just can't stop.
Dave
like,
Mundell, the evolution of Dave Mundell.
Yeah.
Like next. Huh?
It's like, I accomplished that goal. We got to set another one.
That's fire,
That's just
though.
what it is, though.
So do you feel like you're a goal-oriented type of person?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
You got to have something you're working for, otherwise you're lost.
Yeah, legit, man. Why? Where'd you learn that?
life.
Yeah. Was it the parents teaching you, or was it like?
I'm sure they definitely had a play in it, you know, both my mom and my dad. So I can't really pinpoint a time, but it's just I've always seen them all very active doing stuff and always working towards whatever it is they wanted. And I had to earn all my stuff growing up too. It's not like things were handed to me.
For sure.
So it's just kind of the way I was raised.
Yeah,
but
that's fire, bro. That's fire. I always like to get into, bro, because when sometimes like this is the only time I get to learn about somebody, right?
Yeah.
Because we're all busy, bro. Like I'm interviewing everybody all the time, so it's
Yeah.
like I told you this. I'll say it's like I'm not the kind of guy that's gonna do clickbait, but I want to know about your story because not only is it good, but like I get to connect with you, but then the viewers get to connect with you, man. And it's like, man, I didn't know Dave Mundell. You might be inspiring somebody you ain't even meet yet.
listen, I'm getting so back in the neighborhood, my daughter hangs out with her little friend all the time. I finally met their parents. And just like going on, I don't tell people who I am.
Right.
You know, we're just going in there, and then if my daughter maybe passed something along, but they remember they asked me like, "What do you do?" And I was like, "Oh, I fight." And they're like, "All right, cool." And they look at you, they're like, "Oh, weirdo," like some guy doing taekwondo or something. Well, all of a sudden, the other day they calls me up. He's like, "Hey, man, is this you?" And he was talking to me. He's like, "My nephew called me up and was telling me that he knows this guy." And he's like, he sent me the videos, and lo and behold, it was you. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, that's me. He's like, holy shit, dude, that's crazy. And you live right here. I'm like, yeah, you know, that's what I do.
Yo.
You know, so when things like that happen, it's really cool. You know, to know that I got people from other states, you know, seeing me contacting people to show them to me. And it happened to be in my neighborhood, you know, small world, whatever. But
It's
it was
crazy.
cool. It was cool,
bro. So you get into MMA or kickboxing?
So it would have been MMA, yeah.
Okay. You start fighting, like fighting in a cage.
Yep.
How's that feeling?
Terrifying.
Why?
You're in the back room. My very first fight, I'm like hyping myself up. I'm like looking at everyone like they're all soft. Like that guy looks soft. That guy looks soft. You know. I think at the time I knew who my opponent was, but you know, like you're just trying to like pump yourself up. You know, like I just don't want to go out there and lose in front of everybody. So I think we were fighting in some bar too. It's you know, the amateur scene. It's crazy. You know, like you're like, what the hell am I doing here? Like it's just some backwoods shit.
Yeah.
But I was loving it. You know. So went out there and I'm pretty sure like I remember starting off and it was like real good, like 1, 2. And next thing I know, I'm just fucking windmill. Then take them up, slam them, you know, get back up, and we just do it again. And I won strictly off of just like pressure, you know, because I looked horrible. I know it.
Yeah.
But we fixed things.
Yeah. When I did the boxing match recently, my first amateur fight, and you know, I didn't get to see the guy till the weigh-in. I look at
That's
him.
how boxing goes, man. Sometimes you don't even exactly like weigh-ins. Like you don't have no idea. They line everyone up. And they're like, you two look about the same. You two look about the same. So all right, here we go.
Yeah, and I'm looking up at this guy. He's like 6'4". He's got like a weird haircut. Like it's like I got a weird haircut, right? But I've got my glasses on. I'm like, I got my youngest in the Yacht Club gear on, and bro, then all of a sudden I'm like, okay, so we gonna be in the boxing ring. I go out, man, it's the octagon. And I'm like, what is going on? Bro, next thing you know, they closed the door. I was like chilling. Andrew Glenn was the goddamn referee.
Yep.
So he's like, hey,
that
man.
man's everywhere.
Yeah.
I love that dude.
Bro, he's the hustler, bro.
I like it.
He's like, yo, hey, what's up, man? How you doing, man? Hey, I see you around doing content. Yeah, okay, cool. Oh, that's the Tommy John. I'm like, bro, I'm about to go fight. I'm in this octagon. You like, I guess maybe, I think about it, maybe he relaxed me a little bit.
Yeah.
Because when I got in there, bro, then all of a sudden I started throwing. But when they closed the door, bro, and that thing locked, oh man, I was like, oh, it got real right now.
It's about to start. Luckily, I'm usually pretty calm all the way up, and especially when they close that door, and then you get in the ring, and when it finally starts is when everything just kind of goes silent, and then I really like hone in and focus. But a funny story about Andrew, I think I had fought Hector, right? I lost, bullshit, but I like took a long time off because I was pissed.
Right.
Come back in, I cannot ever remember that dude's name, something Grusso, but I fought him at the Hard Rock in Tampa. And I remember it was basically supposed to be a tune-up fight for me. Like, I'm way better than this kid. I go in there, we start moving around, and something happened, and he clips me, and I get set me down to a knee, and he put a big old fucking vagina on my forehead. And the doc's like, here, we got to look at that. I remember going over there, and the doc's like, hey, man, you shouldn't fight no more. And Andrew was like, Glenn was like, he's like, Dave, do you want to continue to fight? I'm like, yeah, bro, I'm about to whoop this kid's ass. Like, I'm winning now. Like, he's like, I got final say. He's like, as long as you tell me you want to fight and you tell me you're not going to get hit in the eye no more, I'll let it go. I was like, oh, man, I was so thankful, you know, because everyone's like booing and shit. Like, the doctor wanted to stop it. He's like, listen, we can continue to do this. Just do your job. And went out there and just continued to mow through him. But
yeah, it's solid. He's a solid dude, man. Solid person. Sometimes I don't agree because the guy pushed me down. He didn't take no points from him, and he like hit me on the ground like it was MMA.
That man's got a lot of controversy. Some people say he lets things go on too long, and something like, but he's doing his job. And if they want something to complain about, you guys get up there and do it. If you're not gonna do that, then keep your mouth shut.
It's definitely a tough job. Andrew, I wanted him to take those 2 points, man. I got robbed, dog. But nah, it was a great. That's great. How many amateur fights did you do?
I think I stopped at 11-2.
11-2.
Yeah.
Oh, so you didn't have many.
13,
oh, yeah,
13 amateur fights.
There's mad people who be having like 400 amateur fights.
So like, I think are you referring to boxing?
Well, I'm MMA. Everything.
MMA is different, man. A lot of these kids now, they like. Well, first off, you didn't need to do 5 fights to go pro. Back in the day, you could just go pro. So there was a lot of fighters who just went pro right away.
Okay.
And then now you have to have 5 in Florida. I don't know if it's the same for all the other states, but you have to have 5 in Florida before you can go pro.
Right.
So a lot of these kids, they get their 5 and they hightail it out.
Dip.
Obviously, with experience, I know that's the wrong thing to do. I feel like I was in a good spot though. 11-2. Like you just really want to make sure that you kind of face every style you're going to see out there, so you know that you can handle it and you're prepared. Because once you go pro, you know, the record's set, you know,
right.
And everyone's so big on wanting to be undefeated, and I get it, and it's a goal for everyone, as it should be. But MMA is one of those sports where that's tough to do. Like any little thing can happen. So either way.
How many? So MMA, you did 11-2 as well.
And
then did you do any boxing matches?
I've only ever done no amateur, but I've done 1 boxing match.
1 pro boxing match?
Yeah.
How'd that go for you?
It ended in a draw. It's funny. I was fighting a sheriff. They called me up. I think it was the night of. No, maybe it was the day before weigh-ins or the day of weigh-ins. I can't really remember. But I had just fought. You know, maybe a month or so ago. I hadn't been in the gym. I go back in there. And the first night of training, and they're like, "Hey, we just got a call. They need somebody to come fill in for this guy. He's a ticket seller." I was like, all right. And it's like, well, where is it at? It was a USF and it was a boxing match. And I'm like, fuck it, let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
You know? It's boxing. To me, I'm like, these are pillows. I'm over there with little MMA gloves. I'm like, and then I'm good at boxing, you know?
Right.
So I remember going in there, decent shape, you know, a month after a fight. You're okay. But I wasn't, it's not like I was training hard. And I just remember that whole thing. And I went in there and we I would say it was a pretty good war. Like we went back and forth. I definitely feel like I won, and him being the ticket seller, like I was obviously the opponent.
Right.
I was the B side.
Right.
And I thought for sure, since I didn't knock him out, they were going to give it to him. But I did good enough to where they're like, it's a draw.
Wow, that's congrats, bro. Bro, do you fighting MMA and then fighting in a boxing match? Was that a pro fight?
Yes.
Wow. So you went pro boxing right out the rip.
Well, so that wasn't during I was already doing pro MMA at the time.
Right.
So I had to, yeah.
But you didn't have any amateur boxing stuff. So it was like.
But I've been with Jihad since the beginning of my pro MMA career.
Yeah.
So it's just, one of those things, like I can box.
Yeah. No, bro, I've seen you in the gym for sure. Thank goodness my coaches were like, nah, you can't go in with him. Although
I take care of everybody first. I am the nicest guy to go up against when we're working.
Dave,
like if we're working,
I get it.
I got
it. And I do believe that you would have taken care of me, but I also think you might have taken me out.
Never.
Never. Bro, I saw you.
You can put me in there with little kids and we'll have a grand old time. Just
bro, you definitely you are a beast, dog. Like, and I see it. There's just levels, and I feel like you can turn them on. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And that's another thing too, is like I'm by no means saying that I'm the best in my gym, but you get to certain situations, other gyms where people, so to speak, outgrow it and they gotta expand. But like I can work with anybody because I know how to. What I mean by that is like I can take things away from myself. Like if I'm sparring with somebody who's not on my level, I can lower my level so that we can get working. Maybe I'm just throwing jabs with him. Maybe I'm not even throwing punches at all. I'm only slipping, or I'm only using my hands for defense, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Maybe I have to stay circling to one side, or maybe now we can play the different schemes where I'm going to be on the inside or I'm going to keep him on the outside. Like, we just play with things.
So
and
you're
we just get
taking
better.
you're taking every time you're in the gym, you're working on something.
Something. I always got focal points.
That's awesome. Bro, you have this. How much time we got? Okay, we got time. So I see online you have this thing with a fighter, a rivalry. Okay. And we all know his name is Mike Perry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Platinum puss.
Okay. So I see him on an interview, and he's saying that you're a pussy and he's knocked you out twice.
He has, but I'm definitely definitely not a pussy.
Okay. So what is that about? Like,
we met once as an amateur, right? I had herniated a disc in my neck and all this other stuff, and I had a long time off. I just had got back to the gym. They offered me the fight. They showed me the kid. You watch him fight. Trash. He's always been trash. Like, his technique's trash. What he is tough. Whatever. It's not a compliment. It means you get your ass beat and you're able to pull through it.
Right.
Good for you. Anyway, so we fight as an amateur. Right out the gate, I knock him down. Whatever, later on through the round, right as the bell rang, I dropped him again. I went to follow up, got pulled off him by the ref. I'm thinking the fight's done. He's barely even able to get up and walk to his corner. They let it go. I was fucking exhausted. Amateur mistake. I hadn't been training, whatever. He did get the better of me at the end of that, knocked me out. So be it.
okay.
Fast forward, 5-0. Now we're both pros, and we're going to rematch. And I was all for it. Like,
You're in the
let's
rematch.
go. But
where at?
I think this one was in Orlando.
Is it
for
in a
Battleground?
Okay.
All right, and going there, pretty much the same thing, man. Like, I'm just beating his ass the whole first round. Towards the end of it, I hit him with a hook, drop him. I go to follow up, bell rings, we separate. And with that fight, I fought angry. I learned my lesson. I remember getting in there, and at one point in time, I dropped for a leg lock, which I'm not even really, at the time I wasn't good at them. I had just learned them, but I just remember I just wanted to fuck up this dude's knee. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like bullshit that I paid for, and I feel bad for it now, but whatever. So I'm like, I wanted to hurt him, and it got the better of me. He came over top of me, and I was sitting down on the leg lock, and he put me out again. Whatever. I don't care. It don't matter.
Right.
I took him down. He finished me on the ground. This is BKFC.
Yes.
I'm pound for pound number 1.
Yes.
I have the belt in his weight class.
Yes.
Why is he hiding behind all this? Oh, I don't pull the numbers. Like, if you say you're the best and you're the king of violence and all this shit, then why wouldn't you just fight somebody who's saying he's better than you?
Right.
Like, you putting yourself up there, you're putting the target on yourself, but then you think you're going to pick and choose who you get to fight. That's bullshit.
For sure. Like, I mean, when he says, like, hey, I beat you, but you are in BKFC. You do hold the title. You are the champion.
This is 10 years later, whole different sport. Like, he knows damn well what will happen if he fights me, and that's why he won't do it. His own management team, I think we were in LA, said that they wouldn't let me fuck up his money, their money. They didn't want me to beat him and then lose their cash cow.
Right. Why is that? Like, what is it? Is it because, like, hey, if you beat him, Mike Perry is no longer, I mean, he just got beat by Jake Paul.
Right. Listen, I hate saying this about, like, because I don't have as big as the name, right? So, like, people, the following is not quite there on Instagram and all this other stuff, but I guarantee it will be once everyone watches me beat the fuck out of him.
Right.
Like, I will make it look so easy too. Like, he is so bad. He is so bad.
Yeah.
Like, it's just crazy to me that he gets away with some of the stuff he does. And then that's like when he went in to fight Logan or Jake Paul, whoever he fought. Everyone's like, what's gonna happen? I'm like, Mike's gonna lose. They're like, well, how's he gonna do? I'm like, because now you're taking away his weapons, right? So you're putting pillows on his hands. He doesn't really hit that hard. He's all arm punches. He doesn't know how to punch correctly. So with bare fists, he's able to do a little bit of damage, but you take that away, he's not gonna hurt nobody,
Right,
you know. So
right.
especially with Jake being bigger, and then Jake knowing how to box a little bit, all he's got to do is move around this kid. He's stone foot. He
Right.
don't do nothing. He doesn't know any angles, nothing.
Yeah.
And I just can't wait. I don't know when, but it's going to happen. We are going to fight,
That's what I was gonna ask.
and when that does happen, everybody will see what I was talking about.
For sure. Bro, on the next segment, right? On our next segment, I'm going to ask you what is the difference between all the other sports, boxing, MMA, and BKFC. The next segment, I'm going to ask you, like, hey, you know, how has it been being in BKFC or in Bare-Knuckle as far as, like, you know, everybody wants to be a champion. What is it like being a champion? And then the final one is like, hey, man, what's up next for, you know, for Dave Mundell? You know, like, what we doing next and where are the things at? So when we come back, I got you.
Let's do it.
Man, I'm back here with Dave Mundell, champ, BKFC, the man. Yo, bro, I've seen you in the gym. So you train. Where do you train at? Like exactly. Like what's the training?
I bounce around everywhere. I'm a gym hoe.
You're a gym daddy.
I have a lot of friends in this sport. I like sharing the love. You know, I like going over here, making sure my boy Reber's doing good. I come over here to see old coaches and work with those guys. My home gym is Shift. You know, that's where all our killers are raised.
Legit.
You know? So I bounce everywhere, but my home gym is Shift.
Bro, I've been listening to a lot of. It's crazy because I feel like I'm so plugged into combat sports and so fast. Like I have no idea. I'm like lucky. Like you know what I'm saying? So it's like I was listening to somebody say, "Man, what is the sauce at Shift?" Like they said if they were going into combat sports or BKFC period, that they would actually move to Tampa. They drop everything that they were going to do, move to Tampa, and go train with Shift.
It's jihad, you know. It's the coaching. That's where it starts, and then outside of that, it's the energy, right? So you had me. I've been there since day one, along with Trey,
Yeah.
Martin Brown. You know, like we grow. Everyone sees what we're doing. It brings a few more people. And as soon as I got the belt, all these outside guys, they're like who are already good, but know that they're missing something. They come in, and it just keeps elevating the gym, you know.
Yeah.
Because now we got a bunch of killers in there. We train all the time. We all kind of have our own things that we do. That's our home gym, but we also go other places. You know, I can't express that enough. Like getting different looks, you know, or finding somebody who's going to emulate the person you're fighting. Like you don't ever want to go into a fight and be seeing that guy for the first time and dealing with problems that he presents for the first time. Like, you want to know how to neutralize things, how to take things away, and then how to punish them for it. And Jihad understands that, so he's very good at getting you work, out, you know, other people to spar, outside work, whatever, or just gearing your whole camp towards that. So a mixture of all that together, and that's the sauce.
That's the sauce, man. That's fucking crazy, to be real with you. It's like a science, right? It's
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Bro, you fought MMA, you done wrestling, you did boxing, now you're the champ at BKFC. What makes BKFC, bare knuckle fighting, different from all that?
Right out the gate, how new it is, right? It's new, it's exciting. The very first time I did it was the first time they came to Tampa, and I was towards what I would consider the end of my MMA career, because it was just like I wasn't really going anywhere, and I would never have stopped fighting, but like I didn't really train as hard. I wasn't as hungry. I was just kind of like, okay, well, I'm here. Let me just go make some money when I need it, whatever. But when BKFC came and I did that first fight, I was like, man, I like fell in love with combat sports all over again.
Wow.
Like, okay, now we got something new to work towards. My record's clean, you know. Like, let's fucking go in on this shit. So that's the main thing right there with BKFC.
That it was new, but what about the fighting style? Is there?
It's a mixture of boxing and MMA. And what I mean by that is you obviously you're boxing, so you have to be able to throw hands, but the range, which is since you're not wearing gloves, with boxing, like you have that extra like 2-3 inches from your pads. People don't realize how much that actually benefits in being able to get in, even catch punches and block punches. And that's where I think, like, because I was training boxing but fighting MMA, I was able to already understand some of the defensive moves. Like you obviously you got to have great head movement, footwork, right? Because you can't sit there in high guard and just shell up and expect to be able to catch punches, because the little fist will go into little cracks and stuff that you think you had covered up, and it'll do some damage, you know. So you have to be able to move, and you get a different sense of urgency behind it. Because now there's times where somebody surprises you, jumps on you real quick, and what are you gonna do? You can't just sit there and let them hit you. So you cover up. But the second I feel something touch, I'm coming right off too. Like, okay, his hand ain't on his face no more. Like, we can throw down. It's like an intelligent brawl, you know. So it's just a little mixture of both, and I feel like it was really, really made for me.
That's fire.
Because I'm good at boxing. I already understand the range. I'm great on I have great footwork, good head movement. So it all kind of came together.
Bro, what's it feel like to knock somebody out in that ring?
It's as smooth as butter. It's weird, right? Because you're in there fighting, and there's times you hit them, and you can feel that you hit them, and you're and like whatever. But when you hit them, and it literally like it's that off switch, like there's almost like there was no resistance. It just goes right through them.
Yeah.
And you just knew, like you automatically know. And I was trying to tell, I think that we were in Spain doing an interview. I had said all this to them. And then when I'm in the ring, like there's times where I knock somebody down, and I know they're gonna get back up.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I hit them, but I felt it. They weren't all the way out. But then when you get that clean shot and you know it's over, you always see me do this thing here, like it's a wrap, it's done, because I know, like it's just like when you hit them and you just feel it, like their whole body just went limp, whatever it is, like you just know it's over.
Yeah.
You know, so it just sucks because they took the camera off me right before I did it. But I remember when I fought Danny Christie,
Yeah.
the final time I knocked him down, I did it. I walked away and I put up the peace sign like it's over because I knew. But I remember too, I did turn around and I seen that dude getting back up. I was like, oh shit! Like, but he called it. I was
He
like,
called it. Yeah.
I was like, I was surprised he was still moving. He's a tough son of a bitch, but it's just you just feel it, man. It just shuts them all down.
Bro, you've had some like highlights. Like I was going, I'm making content and I'm looking at your shit and I'm like, oh, this guy's like, he's like looking like the last guy was like wicked knockout, man. So it was crazy. So, and I'm seeing like, I mean, you fought some of the best that have been in BKFC. It's new, but it's gaining its traction, and
Right.
you're kind of paving the way, for these people.
I have people who, like are trying to emulate my style, and they want to do what I do. They're asking me questions. They're looking up to me now. It's like, it's cool.
That's fire, bro. Bro, so you're in the ring. Obviously, it's 5 2-minute rounds, right? How is that? Do you feel like that benefits the fighters, it being shorter rounds but longer? Like,
Absolutely. So coming from MMA where I had 5-minute rounds, like you get tired. 2-minute rounds, you're like, oh, I can do that. But it also gives you a sense of urgency. You have to like push a little bit faster because you don't have as much time to figure things out.
right.
If you want to get that, knockout, whatever it is. And obviously that's what everyone wants to see. That's how you blow up. That's how you, put a stamp in who you are.
Right.
So it like I said, it just creates that sense of urgency, and you just know like you got to push. Everything's a little bit more faster paced, which is again great for the crowd because nobody wants to see people roll around do jiu-jitsu unless you understand that side of things, and
Right.
not everyone can do that. But like Feldman always says, it's kind of like a bar fight, I wouldn't say like I would consider my fights a bar fight, but I get the side of it, like everyone understands like hitting somebody in the face with the knuckles,
Right.
so it just everyone can relate.
Bro, how are your knuckles? Because like I put on the wrap the other day. I was at Nelson's hand wrapping thing, and I was like, there has to be 2 inches
Yep.
from the knuckle before any padding. And then like I watch other people wrap their hands and I'm like, oh no, I'm not wearing that like that. And then I watch Nelson wrap somebody's hands. And I'm like, man, my hand feels good.
So you can wrap it to where you get a good stable wrist, but going back to the knuckles, I remember the first, I don't know, like 6-7 times I fought, which obviously not too many after that, but I'd always feel like I broke my hand. I'd go to the doctor's like, oh no, you just popped a capsule in your knuckle, and it'd be the most tender fucking thing, And I got to the point now where that doesn't happen no more. But now it's like it's weird because it transfers back to, I guess, like the carpal bone. So my knuckles will be fine, and then I'll have like a whole loop from here to like a little bit behind my wrist, like where all the damage is coming into the joint.
Wow.
So that is the worst part about BKFC is the worst damage I get is my hands.
Right.
From cracking on people's heads. So,
yeah.
But all like the little cuts and stuff like that, I look normal in a week.
Yeah, you do. I was gonna say because I remember there was one where, was it Richmond that you were bleeding? I don't know. One of them that you were.
I think Rigimen, it was like the only fight that I've ever got out scot-free. My hands were fine. My face was fine. You know?
Okay.
And I even got dropped that fight too.
Yo, I was going to say, like, have you been dropped in the BKFC?
I unfortunately.
Yeah, by him, right?
By the kid Grusso.
Okay.
By Rigimen. Maybe it's only been those two. I don't know.
You were like,
protect
fuck.
my chin. I was so mad because it's like I know this motherfucker shouldn't be able to hit me. Like I'm too good for this shit. I seen that shit coming, you know. But you know he's just very precise, just like me. Like I'm not the most athletic person, but I am very smart. You know, I know where I want to go and I know how to get there. I know how to walk people into my punches.
Bro, you walked him into many punches that night.
It's funny you say that because I do feel like when I fought Rigimen, like a lot of technique kind of went out the window. And after he had dropped me, it was more of like, okay, the whole camp we had discussed basically, we get in trouble, which let's go back to dirt biking. When you're on dirt bikes and stuff like that, when you start getting squirrely, people say, when in doubt, throttle out.
Okay.
Right? You have to hit the gas to get straight
out.
back up, right?
Right.
So in that fight, I knew that if I got in trouble, I had to hit the gas because he does not like fighting backwards. He likes to be able to push you backwards and pick his shots and control the pace. But if you frustrate him and change that pace, he doesn't deal well with it. So I remember when I got dropped, I look over at Jihad. I was like, all right, here we go. And I just started fucking running forward, you know, and I'm just chucking knuckles. I'm just like, anything I could do. Like, I can fight intelligently going forward, and I can brawl with people. But it's not necessarily the thing you want to do to some of these guys because it just takes one. It's a puncher's chance. You're putting yourself in danger. But also, people like to see that shit. So.
Yeah. And it seems like you embrace that shit, man. It seems like you kind of you get off on that.
We all got a little screws loose when we fight. So
is that like one of your things? Like, do you feel at home when you're in the ring?
It's just another day now. Like I've done so many fights, like I don't get super nervous when I'm in the ring. Like I don't think I've ever really been nervous in the ring, but like before fights, it fluctuates. Like sometimes I'm nervous, sometimes I'm fine. It just depends. Whatever. I'm very honest to Jihad. He'll ask me like, "How do you feel?" I'm like, "Yo, I'm freaking out." He's like, "All right, this," and talk to me, calm me down. Or I'm like, "Hey, we're good." He's like, "All right, cool."
That's fine.
You know, it just depends. But yeah,
that's cool, man, bro. So. And I know I brought him up before, but I need to bring him up again. You beat Mike Richmond. I was at that fight. He actually retired after that fight.
Yeah.
And bro, to his credit too, like you're a beast. It was a war. Like you even went and like you told him like, yo, he's a warrior. Like
yeah.
And he's done a lot of good things for BKFC in the sport.
Yeah.
You know,
a lot of good things for the combat sports and all. He was coming from an MMA background as well. So
yeah. And he's gone up. Like he was a 135er or something like that.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
So he's been doing his thing. He ends up beating Jared Warren, who's in shift, and for the 185 belt, right? You put him in retirement, 170 is your weight class, correct?
Yep, 175.
He comes back, gets a tune-up fight, beats that guy. He doesn't look very good in that fight, but then against Jared, he looked very good. What do you think? Like, I'm gonna ask.
I hate making excuses for people, right? Because then everyone's like, "Oh, we all have problems, shit like that." But people don't realize what Jared went through in that camp. The little amount of time, like the hurricanes came through, it completely wiped out his house.
Yeah,
you know,
sure.
Like he was not the Jared that we see
for sure.
You know? It is what it is. But I think if they were to fight 100 times, Jared wins 99 of them.
Perfect.
Know? Like it was the one time, it was a perfect setting for Mike to take advantage, and he did. It was good. Props to him. I don't take nothing away from him. Mike's a warrior too. But I know my boy Jared, and
For sure. And I'm not trying to make this about Jared. I guess what I'm saying is Dave Mundell gonna get back. Like,
I know. Listen, it's definitely an
you
option.
gonna run the fade?
It's definitely an option. Like, it does not sit well with me at all. Like, I think
You gonna
again,
take the
all
fade,
props
man?
to Richmond.
Yeah.
But I think he had said something like, we have a saying like all work's easy work, right? And I think he had said something to the corner after he won, said something about easy work. I'm just like, motherfucker.
Yo, you see?
Motherfucker.
You see?
Like, all right, let's run it back. And he went, and he even said it too. Like, he went back there. He's like, yeah, you know, and if we had whatever, if we have a rematch with me, whatever, he wasn't really not gonna. Or how do I say that? He wasn't looking for it, but he wouldn't be against it, right? He said
Right.
something along those lines. I don't know.
Right.
But if they want, if the BKFC doesn't mind having a double champ, I know they said they were gonna stop doing that. Or even if I have to vacate the 75-pound belt to take the 85-pound belt, we can run it. We can run it.
That's what I'm saying. I needed to know because
Absolutely. And a heartbeat.
Okay.
I'm ready. We'll fight this weekend if he was ready. You going to come to Tampa in March, or we'll go to Dubai, whatever. It don't matter.
Bro, I think that would be an awesome fight because, like, you know, and why, like, the double champ shit, like, yo, let that shit run, BKFC.
Honestly, like, I don't see why it would be a big problem for me because there's nobody in the 75-pound class that deserves a shot. For all you bums out there who are 3-0 calling me out, like, I get it. You want your turn. But, like, honestly, like, my record, I don't even know what it is, 8-1 or something like that now.
Yeah.
I've been knocking everybody out. Why? They gave me somebody who was 3-0 already, and look what happened to that.
Right.
You know, it's all cool because if you just want to put a little bread in my pocket, cool. But
Right.
I feel like it being a legit sport, there's just a system to things that they have to go by. But with that being said, there's nobody who's ready for me to fight or whatever.
Except for
Mike Perry.
right.
But then he's even fucking trying to run away from me. Said he'll go up to 85. I said, all right, well, I'll go up to 85 too.
Yo, what do you feel? Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
That was something else. He had called him out, said something, whatever. He actually responded on a video or a comment, something, said he would only fight me at 85. I was like, all right, let's go.
Still nothing.
Like, I'll fight you any weight, anywhere, anytime. It don't matter. It don't matter, bro. He's trash, and I will fuck him up.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie, because I have to do my job. I'd love to get Mike Perry's side on here too, right? To see what the fucking deal is. Because you are, like, you have the BKFC 175 belt, right? You're willing to go up to 185 for that belt. Like, are you trying to fight for a King of Violence belt? Like,
I don't give a fuck about that belt.
right.
But, like, if he wants to put it on the line, it don't matter. Anything.
Right.
I just want to fight that dude so that everyone can see that he ain't shit.
Right. Where we at right there? 17. We got time. Okay, so here's the thing. Here's another thing. Because, you know, you were in Mexico.
Yep.
We did a bare-knuckle amateur event, pro event. It was dope. You actually were on.
That was a badass card.
Yo,
like, every single fight was so intense, back and forth. It was either really lucky or really great matchmaking. I was blown away. Like, there's some pro cards out here that aren't that fun to watch. You know what I'm saying? Like, those guys, they put everything they had into it. They were all fighting for contracts or whatever it was they were doing, but they came out and they threw down, man.
Yeah, man. It's awesome. Bro, I actually got to do the content, and you were doing ringside commentary.
Oh, let's not bring that.
Bro, it was really good.
Was it?
It was fire. I was upset. I was like, Nelson, we got to do that again. Like, it was really dope. You have a good, like, you have a dope, like, kind of like.
I feel like if I did a little homework first and I learned how to say the people's names correctly, and I actually could, like, figure out, like, maybe don't have to say red corner, blue corner. Like, I could call them out as by their name as they're doing stuff. It would have been better because I had to keep thinking, like, hang on, shit, what was his name again? And then I would say,
Toro,
whatever.
Toro.
Yeah, whatever, you know.
It was fire, dog. I'm not gonna lie, I was
exciting.
listening. Yeah, because I want to talk to you about, like, obviously you fight, bro, which is big. But, like, what do you do when you're not fighting?
I work my ass off.
Like, in the gym or?
Yes, in the gym to get prepared for it, but I'm also an electrician. You know, I'm a full-time parent. Got a full-time job.
Oh, okay.
And then I transfer right after work. I go straight to the gym. I lift some weights. Right after that, I go and I box. And it's just an everyday thing, 5 days a week. And then on Saturdays, it's the best day because all I got to do is worry about training. Like,
So you're constantly hustling.
I don't got a choice.
Bro, I heard something that you said you're the brokest champ. You have this joke, and bro, that's like an oxymoron to me. Like that's like
Listen, when I pull up to people's houses and they're like, I'm like, yes, yes, it's me. They're like, why are you working? I'm like, I like to. Like, what do you say to that? They're like surprised to see, somebody who's been on TV in their house. I'm like, yeah, well,
Yeah, what do
I
you
love BKFC. They do take care of me, but they do not pay me enough to stop working, right? It's just, I would live a very low life in order to do that. And it just, like I said, I got kids,
Right.
so I have to make sure there's, a roof over their head, food on the table.
For sure.
And they want things, and I want
Yeah.
to be able to give them the things they want because they deserve it. They do, so it's just, it's very frustrating. And I go back and forth this. I do love BKFC, but God damn it, they can pay me more.
Yeah. And you sell tickets, right?
I do. I don't think there's been a time when they came to Tampa anyways that I haven't outsold my purse.
Wow.
Like I always, it's already paid for, like
Yeah.
easily. And then I literally order a little bit more than what I am going to get paid, and then I stop selling tickets because it's frustrating, and I want to do my part for them,
Right.
Because I feel like it's kind of a job, It's not just
It is a
fighting.
job.
It's marketing, it's sales, all that stuff, and it's so frustrating, But I do what I can, and I feel like we're finally at a point to where they don't need me to do that anymore. They can pay me, they can push me, and people can relate to me. They like me, and I don't know anybody who doesn't.
Right. So I got a question, and bro, look, I got to play devil's advocate because I got to do my job, right? Like, why not just go all in on fighting? Like, why not just quit your electrical job and go and say, hey, look, I'm gonna do this. Like, I got to ask the question because
there might come a time and point where I do that, but right now I work with my stepdad. It's a family business, and whether or not he could do it by himself, I just don't feel like he should have to. So it's kind of like a family thing to me. It's important to, help my family out by helping him out. I'm helping my mom out, stuff like that. So
right.
I just chug along. It does keep me in a certain schedule too, right? Because then you get time off. People sometimes they get lazy, they get lax,
Yeah.
they don't show up to things. So, but I know that if I get up at this time, I go to work. As soon as I work, it's a whole routine. I'm going straight to the gym. From the gym,
Right.
I got my time, and I go.
So it helps you at the same time kind of be organized.
There is some pros to it for sure. There's also a lot of cons. Like for instance, today trying to get here on time. You know what I'm saying? Like I was.
You
like,
made
oh,
it though, but
I did make it, but it was
And on
very close.
time.
Listen, we're usually done super early, like 1 o'clock. I'm off. I'm going to the gym, whatever it might be. And of course, the day that I had something to do, we worked all the way to like 3:15, and we were just getting back to the shop. And this is 30 minutes away, and I still got to unload the van and
pick up your daughter.
Right.
Do a scheduling.
Luckily today I did not have to pick her up. She went ahead and went out. Her mom was able to go get her and hold her until I'm done. Then I'll have to go pick her back up. But it's just crazy, man. It's a nonstop grind for sure.
It's a lot being a champ, dog.
It is.
Bro, you in a perfect world, what does it look like for Dave Mundell?
Man, just waking up whenever my body's like, okay, you've had enough rest. I get up, I make some breakfast, whatever. I go to the gym, maybe boxing or maybe weightlifting first. I'd have to figure that all out. Come home, relax, maybe take a nap, recover, go back and train at night, come home, go to sleep, do it all again the next day. And that would also allow way more time for me to do all these stupid little videos that they want me to do to pump out there to like for social media. And then the recovery time, like there's times I literally have to choose, okay, do I want to get a massage today or do I go train? And I'm a grinder. I go train all the time. So I'm always getting these little nagging injuries that probably could have been taken care of a long time before, but I just don't have the time. So I tell everyone this too, man, like everyone sees what I do now with a full-time job. Imagine if fighting was my full-time job. I would be absolutely untouchable.
We need a Nike contract, an Adidas contract to make it a full-time job. You heard? I need my dog Dave Mundell.
I like Harleys. I got my own bike. We riding all the time. My boy Terry, we're out there just cruising and shit. And then when I was in Mexico, they hooked me up with a bike. We was cruising around.
We
and
shot
shit.
a video.
Yeah, I mean, we have a few videos. You know, either way, that would be one of the coolest sponsors right outside. You know, Chevy.
Yeah.
I love my Chevys. I got the bow tie on my back, redneck written right in the middle of it. So either one of those guys want to come and help out.
That's fire, bro. Man, we definitely need a sponsor for Dave Mundell. We need content creators to help him out too, man. So make sure we do that. Bro, on the next segment, man, we're gonna do one more segment. I definitely want to ask you, like, what's the plan for Dave after boxing or bare knuckle fighting, whatever you want to do after fight sports. And then, you know, how was Spain? How is it getting over there? Right? What was it like? And then, like, what's up next, man? Who's on the docket, or where are we going next, man?
We got options.
Let's do it, man. I'll see you in a second. Man, youngest in the Yacht Club, bro, we getting all the tea today. From BKFC, we got Redneck Mundell, Dave Mundell. Dave, I mean, you know, I go to shift. You know what I'm saying? I see you there. I see you at Big O's training.
Those are the funnest nights, man. That sparring and that energy, man. Everyone's talking shit, but at the end of the night, we all love each other.
Yeah.
But bro, this shit gets wild.
It gets
in there.
real in there, bro. It's some of the. It's, you know, you see when you're looking at like the old like 24/7s, or you're looking at the old Ali's and like the people who are fighting, or even those clips of like Alex Pereira. You seeing those things? It's like, yo, but when you're actually in that type of energy,
it's completely different.
Yeah, bro. The first time I actually saw you in that wasn't in a BKFC fight was in Big O's, and you went in there. I was training at Empire MMA at that time, and you went up against some of our guys, man. My coaches were like, yeah, well, you're not ready for him yet. I'm like, nah. I'm like, nah. But you, again, you took care of the guys.
Yeah.
You do real good stuff. But it was just like, it was so, like, it's like you floating out there.
There's also, like, with coaches not letting them work with me, sometimes I feel like it's a confidence thing. You know, fighting's very mental. You break somebody's confidence too soon or at the wrong time, it can completely derail certain things that they don't want. So I do understand that. But for everybody out there, I will take care of your people. If I'm sparring them and you ask me not to knock them out, I'm not going to knock them out.
Yeah. No, I mean, bro, you do very well. Like I said, I saw you with like 40, I think you went 12 rounds or something like that at one point, and it was like
everyone asked me, they're like, damn, Dave, you got some great cardio. I'm like, I really just, I don't, maybe I do, I don't know, but it's just like, I'm so, I don't know, technical. Like, I know when to push, when not to push. I can kind of flow. I'm controlling the pace. Tell everyone, like, if you've been training for a while and you go with somebody who's brand new, like, you can do whatever you want with them for hours and never get tired. But the second you get somebody who's on your level and you get a little bit of that anxiety, you know, then that's when things change. You know?
Yeah.
So I just feel like I'm on such a higher level than all of them that it's easier to flow that way. And also when I spar, I usually don't even use rounds, and what I do now is almost like I don't know. It's like I'll stay in. I'll do my 3 minutes with one person, and then when the minute break comes up, I just get the next person to come in, so they're getting 4 minutes of me, and the next person, and we just in that I don't stop. Like there's no breaks, and for me, I like it better that way because it's when you stop to take a break that's when you figure out you're tired.
Yeah,
you're like, fuck.
Yeah. It is when it's like, oh man, this anxiety. Do you feel like anxiety kind of drains your energy a little bit?
Oh, absolutely, man. If you're tensing up on everything that's getting, the feints and whatever it is, if you're getting punched and you're just like trying to hold, brace for everything, that shit gets tiring.
Yeah,
you know.
I gotta get better at that because I feel like I'm so stiff. I'm like, don't hit me. Oh shit. But it's I'm getting better. I feel like I'm getting better, man.
It's the only difference between me and anybody else is the amount of time that I put in. I'm very, very good at showing up and putting in the work.
Yeah,
that's what I tell everyone. It's just mat time, and whether that's from sparring or bag work, whatever, just getting in there and doing it, and just spending the time, fix whatever holes you got, and just keep pushing.
That's what you do, man, bro. So you're working, you're knocking people out, you're in Mexico, you're doing press conferences, bro. you went to Spain
Spain.
last month.
Spain was amazing.
Bro, so I've never been across the pond. So I need to live vicariously through Dave Mundell. What was it like from the point that you were like, okay, I'm going to Spain? Because that's when I seen you. I'm like, oh, yo, let's get on the podcast. You're like, yo, I would, but I'm going to Spain. Like, can we get this thing after? I'm like, yes, for sure. So you're preparing, and you're not going to Spain for a vacation. You're going to go fight another man, like
Yeah.
bare-knuckle. What's the preparation, and then how was the whole experience?
Amazing. Start off with that. The experience was amazing. Spain was amazing. The people, the food, everything amazing. Going back to the prep time, right? The very first thing I think of, okay, different time zone, right? And you hear people talk, other pros are like, make sure you go out there 2 weeks early or however, as early as you can afford so that you get acclimated to their time zone. So the very first thing I did, me and my boy Noah, my mitt coach Frankie, we all set it up. We were going out there. I think it wound up being like 2 weeks. Was it 2 weeks? Get out there a little bit early to get used to the time. We're out there, we're training, we're doing all that good stuff. So that was something that was super important to me.
What is the time difference? You don't remember?
Like maybe like 6
6
hours.
Cool.
But it was cool because it was later. So if it was 12 here, it was 6 there, something like that, which was cool because even here at home, when I know I'm early, I go to bed early. I'm an old man,
Right.
So I'm here. I'm 9 o'clock. It's like someone's calling me. I'm like, I can't answer the phone. I'm already trying to sleep.
Right.
So when I went over there, it was already kind of set because I like to. My bad. Going back to being here at home. When I know I'm gonna have a fight, I start training and staying up later. I try to sleep in if I can. Obviously, work doesn't always work out. Weekends, though, I'll stay up late and whatever. So when I went over there, everything was already kind of later. Like, we would stay up till 2, but again, it feels like it's 9 o'clock at night. You go to bed, whatever. So I know when I fight, because sometimes, man, you don't fight till 1 o'clock. I mean, it's happened.
Yeah.
BKFC is really good. They're organized. They have time slots, and they know it's on TV and all that stuff. So you get a better idea of when you're actually going to be up and on. So either way, everything just kind of worked out perfectly. I didn't have to go over there so early. I'm still glad I did. I got to experience a lot of stuff. Going back to my nutritionist, Jackie, at the time, she had set up like a bunch of hikes and stuff for us, and she was cooking my meals, so it was perfect. That was awesome,
Yeah.
I was taking videos, sending it back to my girl Jeffa. She was pumping them out there, and everything was perfect.
Right.
So it was very smooth, easy, amazing trip.
That's fire, bro. How was like the atmosphere? Like how was it? I mean, bro, I think Spain's been around for like
they have something called, it was a siesta.
Siesta,
Like,
yeah.
it's like everything shuts down between like
12 and 3.
Yeah, and so it was cool. Like, it's very family oriented over there. Like, they like that bond, So they work in the mornings, they go home, they relax, they come back, and then everyone also eats dinner late. I think it's like 10 o'clock. I'm like, nothing's gonna be open. Like, here, nothing's open. Over there, it's all the restaurants. And then too, like, what's really cool is like when you go sit down at a table over there, some people might get upset about it, but it's just the way they are. Like, you're probably gonna be there for a couple hours. Like, the whole night's yours. So it's not like they're trying to get you in and out. So like the service is, I wouldn't say slow, but slower. If you want something, all you gotta do is ask, and they'll whatever. But they'll come drop the drinks off, they go away. If you order like 2 different things, like they wait for your appetizer to be completely gone before they come over and ask you like what you want for dinner. It's just slower paced.
Right.
Very like enjoy your time. There's no rush. Everything's very mellow, and it was really cool.
Yeah, relaxing, right?
Absolutely.
How's the architecture and stuff over there, man? Because obviously things are older, right?
Where we were, I didn't really notice much like that, and I guess the arena, I don't know how old it was. This building we're staying in, everything was kind of tiny. I remember it was me, Noah, and Frankie in the elevator, and we're all like touching shoulders in the walls. And it's like, there was a few times like if we came like with groceries or whatever, like somebody would take the stairs just because it was a lot.
It was so everything's smaller, everything's more
the
compact.
architecture over there, I didn't pay too much attention to.
I mean, yeah, you're about to go fight, man.
Yeah, but I was in the scenery, and then listen, Spain, the promotion over there just hooked us up because they had my face all over town, everywhere on billboards. There was big old signs hanging from the light posts, Everywhere I went, people were recognizing me, even when I didn't have the belt and the cowboy hat on. I remember walking by some kids and they were shadow boxing. Or they were like slap boxing with each other or something. I remember looking at them and just kind of like smiling, kept going. And then finally I was like, I could hear them like stop, and they're all like kind of whispering most of it. And I just kept going. And then they started calling my name. I was like, ah, shit, here we go. They turned around, they're like, hey, man, can we get a picture? I'm like, yeah, let's do it real quick. You know, I'm in my fucking pajamas, but hey, it's cool. Like,
So people
just walk on the streets.
People know like noticing you
Out there, man, they put me out there for sure.
Yeah. How did that make you feel? Like
a rock star.
Yeah.
They took care of me.
We need the paycheck to follow that, man. BKFC, man. Take care of Dave Mundell, dog. And get him to fight Mike Perry. And then Mike Richmond, man. Like, what's happening? Double champ. Yo, bro, quick question. So, what's the plan for Dave Mundell?
Listen, we have options, right? Obviously, there's a few guys in my weight class calling me out. I would love just to go make a quick buck if it makes, BKFC happy. I know they don't really want to pay me for taking these guys out, but if I'm going to sit and do nothing, like, they might as well do something. Now,
Right.
Richmond just took the belt. I'll talk to my boy Jared. If he plans on coming back, I'd leave it alone. If he's like, hey, Dave, go whoop his ass, I'm going to go whoop his ass.
Right.
Outside of that, it was even funny. We talked about fighting Chris Camozzi at 205 to take that belt, because I feel like I'd walk.
You walk the dog on that one?
Yeah, dude. I know he's big, but he's not a boxer, and like, you can't wrestle in BKFC, and
Right.
like it's like a Kai Stewart thing, right? Like, he does it very well. He pressures people. He takes away, their ability to like really generate some power. But
Right.
I can fight on the inside. I
Yeah.
know how to do that, and I can also wrestle. So like, if you're gonna come in and walk, and if I touch you, I can hit you.
Yeah.
So I'm all for it, And how funny would that be? Because it would just literally be a slap in the face, because I would go up there, take the belt, and be like, all right, I'm going to go back to my weight class now.
It'd be crazy, dog.
I just wanted to hold the belt below and above Jared.
And that's it.
That's it.
Bro, what about other would you see like Misfits is a thing, right? Like, that's the influencer.
Celebrity boxing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Listen, obviously I'm a fighter at heart. I'm willing to do whatever, wherever, and obviously money talks. I've had plenty of other offers that would have made more money right there on the spot to go fight for another promotion. But I'm riding with BKFC because I feel like in the long run, I will make more money with them, right? I'm trying to show them that I'm loyal, and eventually I'm hoping that the pay reflects that,
Yeah.
So I know since Tampa, BKFC 6, right?
Yeah.
It's where they went from there to here. It's just amazing.
Right.
So I'm gonna keep riding the wave. I got the belt. I'm pound for pound #1. I got no reason to leave.
Yeah.
Unless they stop paying me.
Yeah. Well, and again, man, I gotta play devil's advocate, doctor's advocate. Devil's advocate, bro. When I say this is that, sometimes, man, like, promotions outlast the fighters. Like, do you ever think about that? Like, what happens if you lose?
This is a very selfish sport. They'll love you. That today you lose and everyone says you were the worst ever and you had no business being, whatever.
Right, and then the money not coming.
Right. That's always a possibility. But I'm very confident in myself.
Yeah.
I know what I'm capable of. I know the type of work that I put in. Again, anything can happen, but I'm gonna bet on myself.
Yeah, 1,000. But I'm saying you've had offers for a lot of money at different promotions. That's what I'm not saying that you're gonna lose, but what I'm saying is, every day we get older, right? We slip a little bit more, right?
Yeah.
And so you get all these offers from different places, right? And you turn them down because you're being loyal.
It's a risk. 100%. It's a risk.
Sometimes
It's a
loyalty
big risk.
is stupidity. Sometimes.
I agree with that. And these are all things that we've sat down and really thought about.
Yeah.
But right now, we do feel like this is the best move to make.
Yeah.
I know BKFC is going to be something huge. I'm completely confident in Dave and what he's doing with the sport.
For sure.
Like I said, I'm sitting on top, and I just got a feeling, especially with like this tournament and shit like that coming up, like big things are going to happen, and I feel like this is where I need to be.
Fire. Bro, here's my thing, right? my question to you: if you could give some advice to someone wanting to walk the shoes or walk the path of a Dave Mundell, or a person who wants to walk a path of a fighter, be a fighter, what advice would you give them?
Stay disciplined, man. That's really the most important thing. I know if you need to get up at 6 a.m. so you can get out the door and go for a run to be done and get to work on time, that's what you do. You don't hit snooze. You know, you set an alarm, you get up. You know, if you know you're supposed to go to the gym that day and you're tired or you're sore, you go anyways. Or you got an injury, that doesn't mean you take it off. It means you just go work on other things that you can. You just got to stay, you got to get yourself a system that works and know what it is you are supposed to do, and you're supposed to do it, and things that you are not supposed to do, food, partying, you know, all the quick pleasures, that's got to go. You got to choose what you want.
That's big, man. What does life look like for Dave Mundell after fighting?
Man, there's so many options, and it's we'll figure it out soon. I mean, obviously, with everything that I've learned over these years, I could easily open up a very successful gym, and that's always been something I wanted to do. Like I said, when I was growing up, I was always fishing. All my friends are captains now. You know, I'd love to open up my own charter business, something like that. You know,
Fire.
Obviously, I'm an electrician right now. I could easily go grab my license and just maybe, you know, start my own business. So there's so many things I can do. Maybe I do them all, and just a little bit here and there, you know. But I got a number in my head that I want to make from fighting to set me up to do whatever I want. And once I reach that goal, then I'll start thinking about the other stuff. But right now, I'm all in on fighting, and that's what I'm focusing on.
That's amazing, bro. I'm glad that you said that too, man, because sometimes I feel like people get the goals, you know, mixed up, but it sounds like there's no plan B. Like that's what it is. You're using everything else to get this.
We'll figure other bullshit out later. Right now, we know what the goal is. I know what I want. We're gonna work towards that.
That's fire, bro. Bro, plug your socials and anybody, you know what I'm saying? Plug all that. You're gonna have to speak into the mic though.
I know. I just wanted to
I see the way you did it.
Clear it just to show you guys. Redneck Mundell across all social media platforms. If you go in there, I know you can click on my link tree, brings you right up to the website. We just dropped some gear. If you guys buy anything that helps me out, it helps support me in doing things that I need to do with maybe taking some time off of work to get in there and do the training I'm supposed to do, recoveries, whatever it is. And it's always greatly appreciated. You know, I got all my sponsors that come and support me. You know, I got Full Blast, I got the Real Man Project, Outlaw Customs, Legendary Tattoos, so many to list. I can go on and on. Team Reaper. Just go in there, like some stuff, share some stuff, see what I got to offer. If you like something, get it. I'm selling panties for the women.
Hey, redneck panties.
Surprisingly, they're selling.
Wow, dog.
Like they're buying them up quick.
That's
too.
crazy.
It is. We'll wait for the pictures to start rolling in.
I need to see those. I might order my wife a pair, dog. Maybe not. Do they have your name on it? I don't know if I can do that. Hey.
They do.
Oh no, damn, dog. I might just have some like pulled up.
You can buy like they got. I also have men's boxers.
Okay.
Bathing suits, sweatpants, obviously.
The redneck Dave Mundell. Yeah, you're a designer now. You out here with designer.
It's all thanks to my girl Jeffa hooking it up, making it happen.
Bro, congrats, bro. Congrats. I'm glad that you like exploring different avenues too, bro. That's pretty cool, bro. I would never. You caught
Listen,
me off guard.
I like everyone tells me too, and like to me, it's just weird. Like I can't imagine wearing somebody else's name on me. Like even like other fighters, people that I even do like. If I'm showing up to like a friend's event, I'll wear like a team, you know, a shirt, whatever that be. But it's just it's surreal to me, and they're all like, "No, you got to do it." I'm like, all right. I'm like, I told Jeff, I'm like, if you want to do it, that's fine. Like you create it, you push it. I'll wear the stuff and help as much as I can. And she proved me wrong, man. People love it.
People love it, man. Bro, it's crazy. Like, yo, real quick, I feel like we gotta talk about this because we talked about it in Mexico. Who are the supporters of the Redneck?
You gotta narrow that question down a little bit because that's very wide.
Yeah, I mean, who are your fans, dog? Like, who do you connect with?
Everybody.
Yeah,
everybody. I'm just a real person. You know, I'm just your average person who just works hard and I set goals. I go after my dreams, and I do it. I just do it.
Yeah, I feel like you're the voice of the blue collar hard worker, though, bro.
For sure.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Everyone,
Like the
everyone can
Harley
relate with
riding
me.
motherfucker, like who's like,
We all want to go out there and have fun, you know. Like that's we work hard so we can play hard, you know. And that's always been like, I stay with fighting because I get to travel, and now I'm going out of the country and stuff like that. So it's like that's I work my ass off in the gym. The things that people don't see, all the black eyes and broken bones that I get from training, so I can go out there and look good and then enjoy my time, you know. And my kids see it and getting it, like just stupid stuff. And I don't even. I took my daughter to the Miami fight, and before BKFC, I had no idea who Bryce Hall was. You know, like I don't pay attention to that shit. But when she seen him, she like lit up, and I was like, "You want to take a picture with him?" She's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Well, go ask him." And she's like, "No." So I'm like, "Oh," snatch his ass up. I'm like, "Hey, Bryce, come here real quick." He's like, "Oh, okay." You know, but it's like shit like that. Like it's just those are the moments that make it all worth it too. Man.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Take pictures and stuff like that.
I was there. I took the picture, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You were there. That's right.
It was great. She was like super happy too, bro.
Yeah.
It was like you
She like couldn't believe that I know these people. I'm like, I don't even know who he is. Sorry, Bryce. But it's just what it is. Like I stay in my own lane. I work. Like I said, I know what I want. I go after it. You know, I don't got time for all the outside noise. I don't let it bother me. I just do me.
For sure. One last question. Would you fight a Bryce Hall or influencer like that?
Listen, I tried to ask him if he would fight me after he had fought
G.
I don't think it was. I think it was before. No, that was the only one he did, right?
Yeah,
so
G.
it was after G.
Yeah.
Like I remember saying, like, "Hey man, let's get a face off real quick and let's tease a fight." He's like, "I don't do that." I'm like, "Why not? You don't want to fight me?"
Yeah. He's like,
He's like,
Yeah.
I'm like we're the same, close to the same weight. Like I know he walks around bigger than what he fought at, so I'm like, we can meet wherever.
Yeah.
And that's the funny thing about me too, is like I 100% could make it down to 165. I just really don't want to. But I could also fight all the way up at 205 because that's what I walk around at.
Wow.
So it's like, where do you want to go with this?
It's crazy, bro. You're like you're everywhere, man, depending on where you want to be, man. Do you think you'll blow, like that would be like you as you get older, you think you might get heavier? And
it's weird because as I'm getting older, well, I'm also focusing on my nutrition. I'm actually staying leaner now, but going back to what you said earlier about boxing, and you had a guy who's 6'4", the whole reason why I fight at 175 is to avoid these guys who are fucking tall as shit. And like it seems like everyone's still 6'4". I'm like, bro, like I might as well just be more comfortable at a heavier weight and fight these guys. But
yeah,
I mean, there's just so many of them. Coltrane, Riki, I mean, they were 6'4", and I'm just like, dude, it's so annoying fighting those guys because they'll do something like you're like, I ain't gonna. Motherfucker.
You
like, it ain't gonna land.
You
smack.
Long motherfucker.
Yeah, dude, like, do that shit again.
Dog, that's crazy. Bro, final message for Dave Mundell before we wrap it up, man. Like, what for the viewers?
Man, I just really appreciate everyone who tunes in, everyone who supports me. You know, I love y'all. Thank you. And, you know, just stay tuned because we got some big shit coming up.
Fire. Man, that was the Youngest in the Yacht Club episode with Dave Mundell. Thanks for coming on the show, bro.
Yeah,
I
man,
appreciate
thanks for having me.
Yo, man. All good, man.